Welcome back. Okay, now we're going to switch over to talk about Aaron Rodgers and his future in Green Bay. There's been a lot of drama and a lot of talk happening over the past couple of weeks, including some speculation that he may refuse to play at Green Bay anymore. Sam, what do you think about this? What's happening here?
You know what? I don't blame Aaron Rodgers for not wanting to play in Green Bay. I mean, you know, I do have to give his coach credit because they did hire a new coach 2 years ago. He went 13-3, so he's 26-6. Okay, great way. Got to the NFC Championship. That was wasn't expecting that, but they got to there, and you know, Aaron Rodgers being the greatest thrower of the football currently right now in the NFL. I mean, I don't blame him on wanting to leave because who takes the ball out of Aaron Rodgers in the fourth quarter when you need a score and you kick a field goal? I mean, you
I mean, I think that's part of the controversy, right? I don't know that he feels trusted by his leadership team, and maybe not even respected. I mean, I don't know how deep it goes, but yeah, you're right. Who makes that decision when Aaron Rodgers is your QB?
Yep. And then Aaron Rodgers. The only thing I'm gonna blame him in that game versus the Buccaneers is that he didn't walk in. There was a play that he could have just walked in the touchdown and scored before the third quarter. He could have walked in, but he threw it. And then, as far as the coach coming out and saying that, I want Aaron to be here. I want Aaron to be here. The GM saying we're not trading Aaron Rodgers at all. He's staying here. He's staying here. And further upsetting him, when he wants to leave, I really don't blame him because you know what, when it came to it really for me it came to that Buccaneer game when it's Aaron Rodgers fourth quarter and it's time to win the game, you give that man the ball. You don't. I'm stuck. I'm gonna try to keep my camera from falling, but you give Aaron Rodgers the ball. You do not question that. Give him the ball, especially against Tom Brady. And it's just like, it's just like, wow, man. And then add insult to injury. You drafted in your first round a quarterback.
I mean, Tommy, what do you think? I mean, to me, it sort of sounds like the marriage where one person wants to leave and the other one is like, no, you ain't leaving over my dead body.
No, it does, and I mean,
He's
I
gonna come
still
back.
like I'm still trying to figure out you know, it's the logic of do we kick the field goal or do we go for it? And it's like I get the idea of hey, if we kick the field goal, get the ball back, score a touchdown, we win and we're done, right? Like as opposed to get the touchdown and then get the 2-point conversion. And I'm sure that somewhere somebody ran the numbers on it and came back and said that hey, this gives us our best probable outcome. And that's and that's the thing is that there's a lot of guys that do a lot of analytics in the background that say, hey, in this situation, this is what has worked out more in the past. But unfortunately, those situations, as we know, here's the problem with those analytics and letting that thinking control you too much is how many Joe Montanas have there been? How many Dan Marinos? How many Tom Brady's? How many Aaron Rodgers? Versus the total number of quarterbacks in the NFL that have come through it. It's a small amount. So those other guys that aren't the legends, that aren't these guys, make up a bulk of the statistics, right? Because that's just how it is. There's more of them. So you're gonna take your Aaron Rodgers, who's on that special guy list, and govern him based on statistics and a thought process that is way too heavily influenced by the folks that just aren't at that level, aren't at that pedigree.
So, I
So
mean,
it's
no,
like,
we're
so
talking about a flawed data set. Do you think, I mean, I don't know the industry, right? But do you think that they don't have the data or the mechanism to account for that at the moment?
to run a weighted on that, it depends. But what are you weighted on? Because any way that you weight that becomes subjective. And there's no way when you get in that situation, it's like everything that you do, even if you try and weight it to even out and to normalize it, you're in a position of you have to be subjective to get there. And it's, what's more important, right? Is it more important the number of games that the quarterback's won, or the number of touchdowns, or the least number of interceptions, or throws over 20 yards? Because then even when you look at the great players, they've got different things, right? They all excelled in different areas, you know, of playmaking, and that's the thing, is they excelled at it so well that they won. So you're now getting someone's like, I'm sure you can go through and you can do this, but can you do this in 37 seconds that you have to decide what you're going to do?
No, but
Right?
actually, I mean, you bring up a good point because, right now, I think most teams are using a shared data set in general, right? So it
Mhm.
makes me wonder if the team that decides to invest in that sort of statistician being able to weight appropriately based on factors that you can make less subjective, in whatever way possible, if they may come out with the upper hand in a majority of games. I mean, it sounds like that's an
Well,
application that somebody needs to build.
no, don't get me wrong. I'm certain that all of this exists right now today. But in the world of analytics, the great news is as much as we've thought it through, as much as we have AI, there's still so many potentials and combinations and things to look at, and influencing factors that we just haven't gotten there.
Yeah.
And in those moments where you look at it, because here's the deal, uh, back to our previous conversation, if it's a different quarterback, you may look at it and go, yeah, we're going to kick the field goal. But if it's Aaron Rodgers, if it's Tom Brady, you say, we're not kicking the field goal. We got to go for it. And the idea being is just like, that's you put the ball in your best player's hands. There it is. I can get it if they're down by 9, where they're going to need a touchdown and a field goal. It makes sense. Kick the
Yeah,
field
right.
goal. Now all you need a touchdown, because no matter what you do, you have to get the ball back. And so it's like, okay, that's fine. But when you're down by 8, you go for the first down and you keep that ball moving, and then you get the 2-point conversion because you have Aaron Rodgers. And it's not like you hadn't scored points that day. So just like, I'm sure, like I said, I'm sure that the analytics came into play, but the coach, and it's really the coach, not the guy, not the guy running the analytics, not that guy, not Watson, none of those guys, right? This is all the coach going, yes, I get it. This is what the numbers say, but I'm looking at Aaron Rodgers. Like, because the numbers, no matter how good we get, we don't yet have the technology for the numbers to replace the human intuition side of it, where it's just, here's the factor that I know that in this scenario, this is what's going to happen.
Yeah, well,
And
we've
that's,
run this play 1,000 times, and like you said, I'm looking at Aaron Rodgers, so let's do that play that we know, but like the back of our hands.
yeah. And it's those ones like, if you, hey, here's a perfect example. You're a 49er fan. You're up on the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings have the ball midfield right about the 50. There's 2 seconds left. All you have to do is make sure Brett Favre doesn't throw a touchdown. The stats will tell you that you're going to win, that you are going to win that game.
You are going to lose that game.
And at the end, you go, what in the heck did just what? How did he do that?
That's the thing is,
So
when you have the right quarterback, it's not even a Hail Mary.
no, it's just it's not a hope and a prayer. It's just execution, and that's
Yeah.
what the coach missed. In his mind, going for it, it was a hope and a prayer. Kicking the field goal and getting the onside kick was execution. And what he didn't get was, no, with Aaron Rodgers on the field, it's execution. The onside kick is always a hope and a prayer. It's never going to be left to execution. But when you're Aaron Rodgers on the field, that's execution. So I have to agree with Sam completely that that's one where you put the ball in his hands and you show that it's his team and you still have that trust. Because you don't do that. You draft a quarterback. I'm 37. I don't have time for this BS. So either you play with me or you don't. And it's people are like, well, they're prima donnas. He's 37. He's at basically the tail end of his career, and he's still legit good. Yeah, I would say since it's my butt on the field that can have my my fibia and tibia whatever blown out and broken, and everything else on me hurt and cracked, and I'm going to hurt for the rest of my life anyways. Pardon me if I want things done my way.
Well, not to mention, people forget, yeah, these are members of a team, but every individual on that team really is a business, right? And if my business isn't getting business, what am I doing here? I got the wrong clientele.
Well, it's like as I tell folks, Tom Brady was typically a team-friendly guy when it came to the contractual stuff, but that was all him getting what he wanted. So it's not as contract friendly as you think. It's him saying, if I get A, B, and C, this is how much money I want. If I don't get A, B, and C, this is how much money I want.
Right.
So in a certain way, it's just a different type of negotiation. But it's still a matter of if you're good, you got to get what the team has got to listen to it if you're in that realm. Because it doesn't make any sense to tell a quarterback, you can't go. I'm not letting you leave, but I'm not going to listen to you either.
Right.
Well, Tom Brady was accepting those discounted rates, and he did get his receivers and his offensive weapons, but also the reminder that he is married to a supermodel, so that makes a lot of money too. But
what you're saying is he needs to write a book on the art of negotiation.
No, but when you're paid millions of dollars, it's like I'm sure that the last thing to Aaron Rodgers is, well, I just don't have the spousal support to, without that, I just have to make the money. It's no.
That field goal would have been fine if I was married to Giselle.
Yeah, exactly. It's like if I had that to go home to, then hey. But no, it's it's an unfortunate situation. I mean, because Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay, but hey, if you're Aaron Rodgers, look at how you started. It's not like Green Bay has not already made it known that when it comes to aging quarterbacks, they're basically going to take the game out of their hands and make them role players.
Okay, and I have to look at this too. And we're talking about Aaron Rodgers, okay? So, Tommy, do you remember when Aaron Rodgers, to win the game against the Seahawks in Seattle, he threw it up, and one of his we can argue if it was a Seahawks
the inner touchdown section.
Exactly. It was that he won the game. So the other game against my Cowboys, a miracle how he just told everybody to go left and threw the ball and got into field goal range to kick and win the game. Okay, that's the second magic that he has. The third magic, it was he was in Green Bay playing the Giants, and he threw a floater. They were winning the game. Green Bay was winning the game, but somehow he threw a Hail Mary, and one of his receivers catch it. So it's not like you did not know Aaron Rodgers had magic. He showed you he has magic to pull stuff out of nowhere and to win the game. Okay? So what the Green Bay Packers needs to be doing is saying, maybe come back. You can blame it all on me.
I mean, I think that's the point, right? It's like you're down.
Actually, you're right. See, what it is I'm going to say that this is whoever's in the coach's helmet at that time is playing the wrong music. Because at that time, when it's like, do I kick the field goal or do I give it to Aaron Rodgers? The coach should have immediately looked at Aaron Rodgers and heard, "You got the touch. You got the power." We love the 80s. Anyways.
Yeah, but I agree.
And instead of that, what we end up with is Aaron Rodgers at Green Bay Packers, and it's the final countdown.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, we're almost out of time for this segment, so let's take a quick break. We'll come back, and Sam, we're going to get on one of your favorite topics, the Dallas Cowboys, and we'll talk about the first game of the season, Dallas versus Tampa Bay.